You know what they say about the desert, right? That's where things go to die. And one ex-Eagle player is about to find that out. And speaking of finding out, we learned 13 of the players that will be on the practice squad. And one of them, I just don't get. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So last night, we all went to bed wondering who was going to end up coming back to the Philadelphia Eagles after getting cut. Who would pass waivers and return to the punterless Philadelphia Eagles team? And today, we found out. Meanwhile, the newest Eagle, Albert O, they say I have to pause, was on the field with the team practicing at the link. And you know what they say about the desert, don't you? That's where things go to die. And one ex-Eagle, I feel really bad for him. He's going to learn that out. He's going to learn that firsthand. Now, before we get into all of this, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. If you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you so much for all the support you give to me. It truly means a lot. It really does. Now, today, the Eagles were back on the practice field. They were practicing at the link. It was a late practice. And the newest Eagle, Albert O, was on the field practicing with the team. He is big. He is fast. And he is going to replace Tyree Jackson, who we lost to the New York Giants, by the way. He is now a New York Giants. I never liked him anyways, all right? Never liked him anyways. But he goes to the New York Giants, and we were all wondering, what were the Eagles going to do with their practice squad? You have 4 wide receivers. You only have 3 linebackers. What are the Eagles going to do? And, well, today we got to find out who was coming back. And right now, as it stands right now, the Eagles have 13 spots filled for the practice squad. You could have up to 16, so there are 3 more spots left to go. And to me, I think the Eagles got back the guys that were important, the guys they needed to. One guy I didn't want back for sure. I don't understand that. We're going to get into it in a second, but before that, I want to talk about the 2 guys we lost on the waiver wire. Josh SILLS gets claimed by Shane Steichen and the Indianapolis Colts. That's not a surprise. That makes sense. And then the other one, and I feel so bad for Wallace. K'Von Wallace. Where's Wallace, String? Where's Wallace? Well, Wallace, he is in the desert. He went there to die because he got claimed and picked up by Jonathan Stinkin' Gannon. Can you imagine how he must feel knowing that he was just on the Eagles, a team that went to the Super Bowl? Now he's with the coach who packed it in at halftime of the Super Bowl. Oh, man, that sucks. I think the Cardinals are going to be a disaster. I think Jonathan Gannon is a disaster. I'm arguing with people on Twitter over Jonathan Gannon being a good coach. I thought he stunk. I thought the Eagles roster was so good that it made up for a lot of his shortcomings. And the Cowboy fans should know all about that because they had a head coach that stunk and was stupid. And his name was Barry Switzer. What a moron. The guy goes for it twice on 4th and 1. He only won a Super Bowl because he had a talented roster. That's what I think about Jonathan Gannon. He had a good defense because the talent on that roster made up for a lot of his shortcomings. But K'Von Wallace goes to Arizona, and that sucks. That sucks. You know, I feel bad for him. Do you know there were 24 players claimed off waivers yesterday, and 10 of them were defensive backs? That makes a lot of sense now when you look at it and you think why the Eagles kept so many defensive backs. Well, look how many were claimed off of waivers. Obviously, teams are looking for defensive backs. So maybe if the Eagles do decide to trade somebody, they can get maybe some more for it. Who knows? But K'Von Wallace, I feel bad for him. Now, in the meantime, let's talk about the practice squad, and let me go through the guys that are back right now. So here we go. And this is one of the ones. There were 2 that I wanted, 2 players I wanted back more than anything. wide receiver Devin Allen, and then cornerback Mekhi Gardner. Okay, so here's who the Eagles brought back, and as you can see, they brought both those guys back, and I'm very happy about that. Wide receiver Devin Allen returns. Britton Covey, Mekhi Gardner, Julian Good-Jones, defensive end Taron Jackson. I'm very glad about that. Linebacker Kyron Johnson, safety Tristan McCollum, wide receiver Joseph Nagata, tight end Brady Russell, give him a haircut. Offensive line Brent Toth, linebacker Ben Van Sumeren, and then wide receiver Greg Ward returns. I'm very happy to see Greg Ward return to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's a really, really cool thing. I like Greg Ward. I trust him. And all of a sudden now you have 3 more receivers added to this roster. So if you need Greg Ward to come up and play, he can absolutely do that. If you need a linebacker to play, you have Kyron Johnson and Ben Van Sumeren. So you got some players back that you needed to get back. Okay, so a few things about this practice squad roster I want to talk about, and I got to say, first thing, we are getting reports that the Eagles may be adding another player to the practice squad. Remember, they have 3 spots still available, and it looks like it actually may be 2 because Tim McManus is reporting that the Eagles have agreed to terms with a defensive back of the Los Angeles Chargers, Tywone Mullen, and that he's going to sign with the Eagles practice squad. Now, this was not on the official release, so we don't know for sure yet, but being that it's Tim McManus, I think there's probably a pretty good possibility that he's actually right, that the Eagles are bringing in another defensive back. That would leave 2 spots open for us. And before I get into the guy I really want to talk about, I got to say this. I thought yesterday what Howie Roseman did with the waiver wire, with cutting the players and getting 53-man roster, I thought it was a stroke of genius. It may not go down as one of his most genius things. People may not see it. But it was low-key, underrated, a stroke of genius. And I say that because of this. The fact that you had 10 defensive backs out of 24 players claimed yesterday tells you one thing. By Howie Roseman keeping as many defensive backs as he did, he knew that that was going to be where teams were picking off the waiver wire from. He knew it ahead of time. This guy is always 3-4 steps ahead of everybody else. While we thought, man, can Mekhi Gardner make it through the waiver wire? Can Devin Allen make it through the waiver wire? While we're worried about guys like that, he knew exactly who was going to be back and who wasn't. The only guy I think he would have liked to bring back that he didn't was Josh SILLS. That may be the only one. But I think everybody else got by, and he knew that teams were going to claim defensive backs heavy. This is a stroke of genius by Howie Roseman. It's low-key stroke of genius. I thought what he did with this 53-man roster, and to be able to keep so many defensive backs that teams are obviously desperate for, was really, really good. A really awesome move. Kevon Wallace, it was told after he got cut that he wasn't coming back, and then the thought and the rumor out there yesterday about Tyree Jackson was he kind of needed a change of scenery. So everything, I think, went really according to plan for Howie Roseman yesterday, except for maybe SILLS. That may be the only one they wanted to bring back that they didn't get back. But I will say this. I thought it was a stroke of genius keeping as many defensive backs as Howie did, especially after seeing how many got claimed yesterday. The one area where I don't like and I don't agree with what the Eagles did here was ARRYN Siposs. Okay? ARRYN, I can't get any air under my punt Siposs. All right? The Eagles brought him back to the practice squad. And to me, he's not going to stay. He can't stay on the practice squad for long. The Eagles must have him on the practice squad to see if, just in case they can't find a punter, they have him and they can bring him up. Otherwise, I think if they sign a punter, I think they're going to end up cutting him. I'm assuming. If ARRYN Siposs is the punter week 1, I think that's a bad deal. I think that's a really bad deal. Now, there's a rumor that the Eagles wanted a punter from Pittsburgh, BRADEN BRADEN, MANN, and apparently the Eagles tried to get him last year off the waiver wire, and it didn't work. But BRADEN, MANN was released by the Steelers. Now he's going to go through waivers the next 24 hours. The Eagles could put a claim in, but remember, they're like the 31st team on the waiver wire. So most teams, if anybody wants them, they'll get them. So we got to see how that's going to pan out. But the Eagles have to find a punter now. That is the main objective. And of course, we have Matt ARRYZA. And Matt ARRYZA situation is bizarre to me because Derek Gunn from Jacob Sports, shout out to Derek Gunn, he was reporting today that the Eagles have no interest in bringing in Matt ARRYZA. I don't understand this. I'm not sure why, because from everything we've heard about his case and everything that went on, he was literally cleared of wrongdoing. I'm not saying it got dismissed or something happened and some people still have their doubt. He was literally cleared by video, I believe, that he was not involved. So why the Eagles don't want to bring him in is beyond me. The only thing I can think of, and the only thing that I'm assuming, is that the Eagles and other teams throughout the NFL know something the public doesn't. They've got to know something about this guy. There's got to be something that wants them to stay away from him, because it doesn't make sense any other way. The kid, with the talent he has and the leg that he has, being out there as a free agent where you can just sign him, and he'll probably sign really cheap because he just wants to get back in the NFL and get his foot back in the door. I think you would think it's a no-brainer. There has to be something more to it, because I don't think the Eagles would not sign him or not be interested. They're not even going to bring him in for a workout. Okay, so he's not coming to Philly. He's not coming to Philly, it looks like, and I just don't understand it. I don't get it. But I'm sure there's something. Maybe it'll come out later, and then we'll say, oh, okay, well, now that makes sense. But right now, the Eagles don't look like they have interest in bringing him in, and we've got to hope that they can claim this kid off of Pittsburgh's, off of the waivers, or they could get another punter. The one thing I don't want to see is ARRYN Siposs out there, and the only reason Siposs, in my opinion, is on that practice squad is just in case the Eagles can't get another punter, they have him and stashed him away. So we're going to have to see. I would think the Eagles could find somebody. Look, just fly to England. Go to England, go to crash a tea party. They're all having their little tea party. And say, yeah, your kid can kick a ball. Yeah, you like soccer? Yeah, well, soccer stinks. Football's better. Because in soccer, it makes no sense. Why kick a ball when you can pick it up and run with it? So if he can kick, we'd like to try him out for our team as a punter. It can't be that hard. Just go where the people don't go to dentists. That's what I would do. But it is what it is. We'll figure it out. And I'm just kidding for all you British people. I'm just having a little fun, just busting a little kunyats. You know what I'm saying? But no, we'll see what happens with the Eagles. It should be really interesting with this kicker thing. The Eagles, they can make anything interesting. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. So Thomas R. Peterson put this out there, right? And shout out to him. He put this out there. Punting rankings in 2022 out of 34 eligible punters. Here's the rankings. ARRYN Siposs, 33rd. Out of 34, he was 33rd. BRADEN, MANN, who just got cut by the Steelers, 4th. So listen. You put in that claim for this kid. Let's get him off waivers. I hope they bring him in because we need a punter. We need a punter. Denzel Washington, out.